Okay, we have our floor built and now it's time to move on. So with our floor here, we have our header joists, one here and one here. Those header joists help our floor joists tie in and make it nice and rigid. So we're ready to put on our subfloor and start building our walls. Now if you remember from our original sketch, this is what we're going for. Just a rough sketch here, very rough, but we'll make it work. Okay, just to give you an idea, this is what it's going to look like when we have our subfloor and walls finished. Now, I'm trying to be as minimalist as possible while still, having the same concepts as a real house. So, for instance, like there's a bottom plate and a double top plate, and they're tied together. And these are like our little studs. We got our little corners here. So now I want it to still be light. Yeah, we probably could add more studs in here, but it might be overkill for this. So I'm trying to be as minimalist as possible, but still add the features that a real house would have with balloon framing. So with that said, let's get going. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to make our subfloor. We have our floor here. Subfloor goes on top of it, and it's what your flooring will go on top of. So we want to do a sheet of OSB. The easiest way to do that is to look down on this, kind of a bird's eye view, pick the rectangle tool, click and let go and drag, and make a rectangle similar to the size of our floor. Now I'm not doing it on top of it, because if you build on top of it, sometimes it like snaps to it and makes it like one thing and it just messes it up. The reason why I'm making it a similar size is because in the bottom right I can see which dimension I need to do where. So if you remember, our doghouse is 36 by 30. So it looks like in the bottom right that our larger dimension goes first. Oh, second. Okay, so I'm going to do 30 first. 30, comma, 36. Now it should fit this. And if you don't get that right, it's okay, we can rotate it later. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to go ahead and select my push-pull tool, click and let go, drag it up. Remember, this is 1/2 inch OSB, so we're going to type in 1/2, enter. Then we're going to do the space bar or click select, drag a box over the entire thing. Make sure you select all of it. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to do my paint bucket. And then if this doesn't show up, if it looks like this, you just click on the little search, and then you scroll down, click on wood. Bottom left is OSB, so click on that. Since this is all selected, it should paint it all, and it looks like it did. Okay, you can check it, make sure it didn't miss any places. There's our nice little OSB sheet. It's cut 36 by 30. Space bar. Now we want to move it, so I'm going to click on the little move tool, and I want to select this one of these bottom corners, okay, and zoom in. Make sure you select the corner. Then I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to zoom in over here and make sure it snaps to this top corner here. Okay, so there we go. Bippity boppity boo. We have our subfloor. Now if yours isn't fitting right, you might need to rotate it. The way you rotate it is make sure it's selected. Once it's selected, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Okay, we're going to back up a step. I painted it, but I didn't make it a component, which could give us problems. So I'm going to go ahead and pan over, and I'm going to select it. I did Control Z to kind of back up. I'm going to right click and say make component. I'm going to say 1/2 inch OSB, and I could say subfloor if I want to get specific. I had already made on this before, but yours shouldn't say that. Just say okay. Alright. Now we're going to move it. And I think I am going to, well, no, we'll do it the right way. Okay, so I'm going to click on this bottom corner here. Then I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom in over here. It looks like I'm going to have to use my pan tool. Okay. So once again, bottom corner, you can zoom in, snap it to that corner. Now like I said, if yours isn't correct, you can always rotate it. In the move tool options, there's a rotate, and you can click, and there's a little protractor here. And first you want to line it up with an axis. So right now it's on the green axis. You can click, and then when it turns red, I know it's 90 degrees because now it's on the red axis. So you can always rotate things if you need to and then rearrange them. Kind of cool. Alright. Okay, so our subfloor is done. Now let's make our components for two of our walls. So if you remember our drawing here, we want to do these walls here, which actually they look like they go the whole length, but they don't. Or take my dimensions, goes from right here to right here. Okay, and that's actually 29 inches is what that wall is. But it's on my 36-inch side. Okay, but these walls take up some of that length. So it's 29 inch, that's what we're going to call it, our 29-inch wall. And we need to make our little studs, which are 1 by 4 by 12s, so they're 12 inches long. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those that we're going to need. So the way that I like to do this is get next to my floor here. Remember, this is balloon framing, what we're doing when you're building on top of things like this. I'm going to pan a little bit to the left. This is where I'm going to be working. I'm going to look at it from this angle. I'm going to pick the rectangle tool. I'm just going to snap, click and let go and drag a little box. Now you want it to look flat like that. You don't want to get funky like this and go on the blue axis, but you want it to look like that. And if I look in the bottom right, it's going to be 3/4, comma 3.5. Now I'm going to do my push-pull tool and click and let go and drag. Remember, these are 12 inches long, so type in 12, and then I'm going to go ahead and select it. Make sure you select the whole thing, and make sure you don't select any of this, but just this, our little stud. Right click, oh, don't right click, click over here on the paint bucket. Remember, this one is wood, and now I can right click on it and say make a component. Oop, I said make group. I want to Control Z, undo that. So select the whole thing again, right click, make a component. This is a 1 by 4 by 12, and you could say stud if you wanted. Say OK. Okay, let me show you why I drew it in this orientation. Say I was looking down like this, and I drew a rectangle like this, a little stud, and I did the push-pull tool, and I brought it up 12 or whatever, and then I went ahead and went to paint it. When it's in that orientation, it doesn't paint right. So if I paint it, if you look, the grain is actually running the wrong direction. This is running the right direction. So that's why I laid it down like that to start with. And there might be a way to fix this, I don't know. You guys might could figure it out. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead and lay them out this way. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, delete that. Now these 1 by 4 by 12 studs, we need 6 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. And then I'm going to right click and say copy, right click, paste, and I'm just going to snap them right next to each other. Okay, right click, paste, right click, paste. And there might be a shortcut to this, like, you know, P or Control P. Nope, that's not right. But for me, I'm just gonna, you know, do it one by one. Okay, so let's see if I can get out of this now. I'm gonna say cancel. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we need 6 of these. So I think I have to select it again and paste. Right click and paste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and it's added dimensions automatically. Here's my, I don't know why mine did that, but I'm gonna select all those and just delete them. Okay. Alright, so we're getting there. We just gotta build a couple more things. So I'm gonna go ahead and pan. And we need to make 4 1x4 by 29s. So, I mean, this is good practice to just, you know, build a bunch of these. Helps you get comfortable with it. And so I know it takes a little bit of time, but it's good practice. So, once again, a 1x4 is actually 3/4, comma, by 3.5. Enter. Alright, and then we're going to push-pull it. And these are 29 inches long. And then I'm going to hit spacebar so I get my selection arrow. I'm going to select the entire thing. Going to paint it. It's already on the wood color, so I painted it. Spacebar, right click. You can just say make a component. This is a 1x4 by 29. Okay. Okay, and we need, what did I say, 4 of these. So, once it's a component, I can just copy it, paste it, and right click, copy, right click, paste, and just snap them to each other. Okay, one more. Goes pretty quick once you get the hang of it. Okay, we're almost done. So now, we need 2 more boards, and they're going to be 36 inches long. These are our top plates. So let's pan over, give us a little more room. Click on my scroll wheel and orbit. Draw a rectangle. And, whoa, let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, this one is 3/4, comma, 3.5. Once again, you can probably find a faster way to do this, but this is just good practice. Push, pull, push it, drag it out at 36. Okay, spacebar, select it, gonna paint it, and then I'm going to spacebar, right click, make a component. This is a 1x4 by 36, and I could say, you know, top plate. Say OK, and we need 2 of these. So I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. Okay, now we have all the components to make 2 of our walls. So what I'll do is in the next video I'll show you how to assemble these 2 walls, and after that we'll finish off with these 2 walls.